I've had some questions, South fans, so here are some brief thoughts about the two friendlies that I've recently watched South Melbourne play in against Mornington and also Brunswick. What I will say in both those matches, of course, let's adjust our views against Mornington. They're a State 1 team. However, I would say going into that match, I didn't expect us to score 7 goals. We did score 7 goals, and we had the ability to score double figures in that game. And what was really, really obvious is the addition of the 4 new attacking players in Max Mikula, Andy Brennan, Alan Webb, to be fair, Patrick Langlois is not, he's not really an attacking player. He's been signed as a 6 as a defensive midfielder, but on him, South fans, he appears to be honestly a Rolls Royce of a defensive midfielder. He's not only there to win the ball, which he can do because he's quite a physical player, but he can drive forward. Like, he can take one player on, create space, play a ball. He can play 1-2s. He can pick passes out. He can break the lines with his passing, which is, very, very important. Like, we're talking about getting the ball, quite deep, and then, playing a pass that basically goes right through the opposition. He has all this sort of, tools to his game, which is something we haven't seen at South Melbourne for a significant amount of time. Then we have Max Mikula, who's been playing on the left wing or left side of attack. Now, he's a player, in my opinion, with a box of tricks, right? Absolutely superb dribbler, really, really good technical player, and he likes to score goals. Now, he hasn't, when I'm thinking about it, not sure if in the 2 games, like against Mornington and Brunswick, if he's scored. He's definitely got an assist, and I remember against Mornington, he also hit the post. But that's worth taking note of, South fans, because the point I want to make is he's a player that if he has a shot on, he's going to take it. He's going to back himself to take it, outside of the box or not. He'll hit a good shot that will hopefully test the keeper, and that just gives us another dimension. To have a player who, if the shot is on, he'll take it. That joins the likes of Schrone, who would do that as well. And from what I've seen of Patrick Langlois as well, he would also, take the shot on. If he has a strike available to him outside the box, he'll take it on, and he has the ability to execute it and score. He has scored 3 goals in the 2 matches. One was an absolute cracker against Mornington, and to be fair, against Brunswick, when he scored from memory, it was our 3rd goal. It was a great 1-2 with Sawyer. He got into the box and just slammed it past the keeper, probably from 12 to 13 yards out, in an emphatic way. Then we've got Alan Webb, and you can tell, he's a seasoned pro. He backs himself. He knocks the ball past players, takes them on, gets into the box, then makes a decision. Am I going to cross it? Am I going to shoot? And he's a sort of player you have absolute confidence when he has the ball and he gets in those positions to make the right decision more often than not. Of course, he can finish, and he has pace to burn from what I've seen. Against Mornington, also against Brunswick, he was playing more on the right-hand side of attack, or maybe in and around Sawyer. Multiple times, just burning down that right-hand side, getting into the box, either laying the ball off, or, often finding himself in a one-on-one position as well. He did get on the end against Brunswick of, a great cross from Mikula early on where he tapped home from a few yards, and then Harrison Sawyer set him up as well, later on in the Brunswick game to score in the back post, which again tells you he's a player that's in and around the box, can receive the ball from outside the box. Very, very exciting to have a player like this who's a clear weapon, right? And when you combine him and Mikula, all of a sudden Harrison Sawyer, who is, a superb player from a variety of perspectives, he's also a weapon, very strong, good in the air, can hold the ball up. He has 2 players around him who are going to cause the opposition, they're going to frighten the opposition in terms of, which player am I going to pick up? Mikula, Webb, Sawyer. They're going to need an integrated strategy or a cohesive strategy, to take on those players. And then you have, to successfully manage those players. And then you have Andy Brennan, who looks like he's in the best footballing shape of his life. Super confident. He only played, it's worth mentioning, the game against Brunswick. He was away. I think he had a family commitment in Tasmania, which he had told the club about prior to signing. in the game against Mornington, but I saw him against Brunswick. We saw last year that since Andy Brennan left South Melbourne and he went to Oakley, probably wasn't the best for him. Then he went to Green Gully, seemed to get a little bit better. I think in between he may have been a Bentley. I'm just trying to think, when he may have Oakley, maybe Bentley, then maybe Green Gully, but then certainly at Hume, he really found, his groove, and, he was dominant on the right-hand side, scoring goals, setting goals up, and he's going to offer that as well to us South fans. And that's what's so exciting, to have such a powerful player who's also good with the ball, can score, get assists, experience in the NPL Victoria, yet another weapon, has great pace, another weapon to contend with, which is superb. And you, as mentioned, Harrison Sawyer, hopefully if these players can remain fit, will have a lot less pressure on his shoulders. In the 2 games that we've played, he hasn't scored. He's had chances. He hasn't scored. We've scored 11 goals. He hasn't got on the score sheet. Against Brunswick, I mentioned that he set up Webb for Webb's second. He also took a corner, which, he took it really well to the back post, that Marko Jankovic managed to convert from like 5 or 6 yards. Poor defending, really, from Brunswick. I'm sure that's something they would be disappointed in, but it is the preseason. From memory, that was our second goal. So hopefully, it unshackles Harrison Sawyer. There's less pressure on him. And, we won't, and from what I've seen, South fans, we won't be looking for that outball to Sawyer anymore. Now, there's no disrespect, to any of the players that we had in the past, right? Absolutely none whatsoever. But when you have 2 players in the middle of the park like Shrone and Langlois, especially Langlois, who demands the ball deep, like literally will go, next to Jankovic, Almazi, and Marshall, and say, pass me the ball. And he will do it repeatedly because he has such great technique. The way we played against Brunswick, for the first 30 minutes, arguably the first half, we were dominant, obviously, the majority of the game. In the second half, we did bring on some younger players. We finished the game maybe, with obviously some players off the bench, but also a number of under 21 players as well. But in that first 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, we were playing scintillating football. And obviously against Mornington, it was similar. The only difference being against Mornington, really Mornington didn't create, that many chances, maybe 1 or 2. Brunswick may have created, 2 or 3. But, Brunswick was a team that was arguably, the best team in NPL2 last year. And I don't think they've lost many players. It could be, it's earlier in their preseason than ours. Maybe they didn't have their full team, but we were 2 or 3 clicks better than them yesterday. And we were doing it in a way, not by outfoxing them or by being better than them tactically, by just simply playing, significantly better football than them. Great combinations, great passing through the middle of the park. It was really great to see and a positive sign. My understanding is, hasn't been announced by the club, I believe, not this Friday the 28th. There was some talk at the ground yesterday against Brunswick that we will be playing Pascoe Val at Pascoe Val's ground. I believe it will be CB Smith Reserve, though, not like their training facility. But look, don't take my word for it. Wait for the official announcements. I'm sure it'll be a game that's open to the public. I heard 8 p.m. Pascoe Val, whilst they were thereabouts in the NPL2 last year, looking at the signings they've made this season, including, a player like Terence Carter, for example, who was arguably the best striker in the NPL South Australia a couple of seasons ago. I think they're a team that's going to be aiming to get promoted to the NPL1 as well. So I think they'll be a good test. And it's good to see, we're building up our preseason. Start off with St. Albans. We didn't have many of our players there. A lot of under-21s. Apparently we didn't play the best. Played our under-21 team as well. My understanding was, the performance wasn't the best there. Then we moved on to Mornington, a senior team at State 1 level who probably wants to try get into NPL 3. Comfortable 7-0 performance, convincing. Move that up to Brunswick, arguably, one of the best teams in NPL 2. Beat them comfortably. Now we're doing, playing a similar team though away from home. So that's going to change it up a bit against Pascoe Val. And then my understanding is, we may be looking to finish with some NPL1 teams, for the remainder of our preseason schedule. So that's my feedback, South fans. I can also say that goalkeeper Harvey Diaz has played in the 2 matches, full 90 minutes. I believe our second keeper, Christopher Quesnon, may have been ill, so hasn't been able to participate in those 2 most recent matches against Mornington and Brunswick City. What I can say about Diaz is he's a very, very technically correct keeper. He may be shorter, and not significantly shorter, but he's shorter, obviously, than Pierce Clark. But other elements that he brings to the game, because he is also a very good shot stopper. Obviously, Harvey Diaz is. He just seems very technically correct when he comes to the ball in the air, when he gloves it. He's good. He's good with his feet, I would say, especially for NPL Victoria level. He looks like he'll be one of the better goalkeepers with his feet. So I'm quite comfortable and happy with that signing as well. We haven't seen the likes of Chris Irwin yet. My understanding is he hasn't really joined full-on training yet. That might happen, early February when I asked around the traps. He'll be a great player to get back into the team, maybe in, I don't know, between round 5 and 10. It'd be great to see him come back earlier because, we know off the bench he's got pace to burn. He'll be able to start some games. He can get goals. And we need also players that can support, those four, well, in particular, the three attacking players I mentioned in Brennan, Mikula, and Webb. Those players might be out of form sometimes, or they might get injured. We need a player like Irwin. And when you break it down that way, in my opinion, we might need one or two other players, especially, with Adams going. You would think that would free up, some budget. We can reallocate that maybe to another signing in the midfield or in the attack. So it'll be interesting to see if South Melbourne does any more business towards the end of, of the transfer window and the preseason period. So, that's my analysis of the last two games. Some feedback on the new players. I encourage all South fans, if there's a friendly match near you, or even if it's a short drive away, go out there, support the boys and see the team play. I think you'll be very impressed with the new players. I feel they're a click up, from players we've had previously at the club. It is early days, but certainly the early signs are significantly promising. Go South!